There is a supernatural world that surrounds us, and sometimes it manifests to people like you and me. You'll hear stories about this and so much more right here on Supernatural Confrontations. The title of this show is called Dark Entities. Michael had an experience that's unnerving, and you'll hear about that. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Central banks are increasing their gold reserves due to increasing global financial crisis concerns. Billionaires like Ray Dalio to giant fund management companies like Goldman Sachs are turning to physical assets like gold. That's not surprising. Historically, gold's biggest rally happened after the largest recessions in history. In fact, after the 2000-2009 recession, gold prices jumped 50.5%. Think about what that means. Wealth of entire countries are being protected by gold. Wealth of billionaires are being protected by gold. Many people are using gold to keep their billions safe. And Noble Gold Investments can help you protect your own wealth too with gold. It will take you no more than 5 minutes to set up an account. Noble Gold specializes in storing the value of your wealth through gold IRAs, so they're the natural choice. And they're giving away a beautiful 1/10 of an ounce gold American Eagle coin with every qualifying IRA or 401k this month. Folks, do something different. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold. Call the team now at 877-646-5347. Once again, that's 877-646-5347. Or to find out more, please visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. So Michael had a series of events that happened, encounters, supernatural confrontations with what I can only call dark entities. Here's his testimony. So folks, once again, on Supernatural Confrontation, we have a gentleman who's being bold and courageous enough to come on. And what's amazing about the show and what I love about the show is I read the emails, and emails are so impersonal. There's no face, there's no voice. You don't know who you're really talking to. And then all of a sudden we do a Zoom chat, and here's Michael, and it's face to face, and there's a person, there's a voice, body language, there's emotion. All this just comes right into play, and it becomes just amazing. People. I think the reason why the show is taken off and people like it, because it gives people like yourself a platform to come and share their supernatural confrontation without judgment or ridicule, or no one's pointing the finger. I mean, granted, we're getting, 10, 15, 20,000 views. So there's a lot of people that are seeing this stuff. What's great is more and more people come out of the woodwork, as it were, and talk about things that you normally don't talk about. So something happened to you, a series of events that happened to you. When did the first one start, and tell us about it?
I was probably 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old.
You're just a kid. I mean, you're just, unprotected. You're a kid. Are you asleep? Are you in the room by yourself, or with a
No,
book?
the first memory, I was actually in my parents' room.
Oh, wow.
I went in there because I was scared. I felt like something was there. So I went in my parents' room, fell back asleep, and then I felt like a hand or something on the side of the bed. I'm like, my parents are on this side and there's a hand on this side. So I felt it, and I felt the individual digits, but then I ended up passing back out. So that was it for the first experience that I really remember.
Let me stop you there. Did you happen to count the digits? Were there 5 digits? Were there 6 digits?
I can't remember. I just know I was going in between each finger, but when I was doing that, I think I kind of passed back out. I was only able to do so much, because in that state, you're limited to like your energy runs out or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's and you're only 5 years old, so
Yeah,
you're trying to process this. Were you excited? Were you happy? Were you scared? Were you
I was
terrified?
scared. I was terrified, you know.
And
So
so you go back to sleep. The next morning, did you tell your parents anything had happened?
I don't remember. I don't think I did. Like
Okay,
at that point, I thought they were just like dreams.
right.
And then everyone will shrug it off. Oh, you're just having a bad dream or whatever. That's what they tell you.
Yeah,
But
that's
you're
the
not
stock
having a
answer.
dream.
Ah, don't worry about it, kid. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But there's a difference between a dream, which is like abstract
yeah,
memories and stuff,
yeah.
and then if you're actually there, you can hear, you can see, you can feel. You're there. You can't tell if you're in your body or not. So
And before we get into the second and third experiences, what people don't, what we as human beings, I mean, let me back up here. If you were to go to a shaman anywhere in the world and tell that story to, they wouldn't bat an eyelash.
right.
That's typical. That's the world that they live in. They
Yeah.
know it. They know it from a shamanistic point of view. They know that it's real. They know that the supernatural is real. That the denizens of what I would call the second heaven or the lower astral are constantly, hitting us in the dream state, because in the dream state we're completely helpless. So what happened in the second encounter?
Well, there was multiple encounters.
Okay.
But like there's this, like I call it the dark world. It's like it looks like our reality, but it's really dark. But then there's another place that I would find myself that was completely black, like a void. Okay. And you can actually you could see into it a little bit, but if you were to put your hand in front of your face, you can't see your hand.
Wow.
I remember doing that. I remember testing, can I see myself? It was almost like it was translucent almost. But in that place is where I would call demons can mess with you. So I would know something was there. I could hear them snorting, like almost like a pug dog,
Wow.
how it snorts and go, but like continuously, like they were constantly inhaling, and they were tiny, like a raccoon type like size. I could hear them plopping around, right? And one time I actually said I was able, because usually you can't talk when you're in that state. It's like that sleep paralysis, or I don't know how you say it, but
The
like
paralysis.
paralysis, yeah. Like that state, they always say, "Oh, I can't move," and they're holding me down. Well, I was able to fight through that and move, and then look around. So you can actually move in that state if you try hard enough. So, because I remember doing it, but
So
I would hear these things. Good.
how old were you when this was all?
I was probably 16, 17 when it started happening,
So
and that
you're
well, it went up like up a level. So, but I would hear these things, and I
and
try to communicate once.
and what was that like when you tried to communicate?
Well, I said, "Hey," I was able to say, "Hey," to these little things, and they took off immediately. And then nothing happened. I went back to bed. But the next night, I fell asleep, and then the sleep, that's when I was held down and I couldn't move, and something was above me. I could tell it was very, very big. And then when it said something, it said, "Hello, Michael," with like this guttural, gurgling voice. And then a little voice told me, like a female voice said, "Michael, don't respond to this thing. Don't respond to it." And I didn't. And then and that was it. I woke back up the next day.
Now,
So
when did you become a Christian in all this?
I've always been a Christian.
Okay, but
Yeah.
but you, when this is happening, you're not calling out to Jesus for help or anything like that.
It's funny because growing up, I was raised Roman Catholic, right? You're supposed to pray to
Okay.
Mary.
Yeah, I was too.
You're supposed to cry out, and that never did anything.
Mm.
Like they wouldn't go away. They were still there. So calling out to Jesus, it definitely gets them angry because it usually stops the thing immediately. So like,
So what happens next? Now you're 16 and you're experiencing a very dark, ominous figure calling you out by name.
yeah,
Uh, What happens next?
I didn't see this thing, but
Okay.
I could tell it was there. And it was above me and it was holding me down. I don't know if it was holding me down or if it's just a force that holds you down, but you could feel the energy coming off of this thing, like it sucks. Like it's like pulsates, and you hear buzzing, and all. It's really like it's strange. When it gets near you, it's almost like it's a different frequency that this thing sends out or whatever. So I don't know how to explain that, but you hear it, you feel it. It's a pressure. You know.
How did you finally get out of that situation?
Well, that situation, I just remember I didn't when whatever that voice was told me not to say anything. I didn't say anything, and you get tired and you give up, like you like lay back, right? And that's when you wake up the next morning, So it's almost like you give up that experience, the energy. I don't know how to explain it. So
Now, did anybody else in the family have similar experiences like this?
my mother actually,
Here we go.
I would tell her all the time what was happening to me, and she was just explaining to me, "Don't worry about it, Michael. Don't worry about it." And then the one day she told me, "Michael, that happened to me. It finally happened to my mom. She was held down. I think it only happened to her once that she told me about. So like she realized what I was being serious. Like that really happened. So
So when did all this stop, and what do you attribute the end of, let's say, the experiences to?
uh, I during those experiences, you're terrified. Like it's overwhelming fear that you're feeling. I feel like when I was about 30, in between 30 35, because I'm 42 right now, I stopped being afraid.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure if that correlates with them wanting to mess with you or not. Maybe they feed off of that. I don't know, but the fear was gone. So I think they're gone. I mean, they could probably come back and do stuff, but I haven't had an experience until I was probably 32 years old. So
Well, so it's about 10 years since you've had anything.
yes, yeah, the last one I could remember vividly. So
Now, the last one that happened, tell us about that. And did you ever evoke the name of Jesus or call out to him, or what do you attribute this whole thing just stopping, other than, just not being afraid, just not caring anymore?
well, during these experiences, I would say Jesus help me, and I remember them stopping, but I don't know why they stopped. That could be it. I started calling out Jesus. Maybe they just stopped wanting to mess with me. I stopped being scared. Then I'm calling out for Jesus. You
Did
know,
you move to another location during that?
I did actually. I did. Yeah,
So
yeah.
were you in the same location
For
for,
all of them. Yeah,
okay,
all of them except one.
which
The
was,
one where the one called out my name. I was at a different house.
okay,
But all the rest of them were at my parents' house.
okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Now, has your mother experienced anything since then?
Not that I'm aware of. She hasn't told me,
All right.
but she's not one to tell me about that stuff. So I
Yeah.
think she just wanted to tell me to make me feel better about myself. Like I'm
Yeah.
not crazy, but
Yeah.
so
No, you're not. And that's what, I mean, that's why I love this, because we get, with all these people that come on the record, we're getting good stories, great stories where angels show up and heal people, and, all sorts of cool stuff. But we also get the dark side.
yeah. There's only out of all of them, there's only two experiences that I would consider positive. One where I was in that black void space, and I was able to see what I would call like a Mary looking figure, right? But it wasn't her. It was female in nature, and it looked like she was translucent, right? But
Okay.
all I could see is if you held a flashlight over your head, the different areas where the light would hit, I could see. I could see the top of her head. I could see the veil. I could see the tip of the nose and the chest area. I could tell it was a female, right? Nothing was said. I wasn't scared. It was just there. And that was just one time where I saw that, you
Wow.
know? Yeah.
I'll
So,
give you the last word. I don't,
mm,
I thanks for coming on, because
yeah.
it's people need to hear stories like this, because they realize that, wait a minute, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
This has happened to me, and that's why
Mm.
we do the show. But I'll give you the last word. Go ahead.
Well, all I'll tell people is if you're getting the sleep paralysis or
Paralysis.
sorry,
That's
you
all
know,
right. Yeah,
paralysis.
paralysis. There
If
you
you're getting that and you're terrified, nothing's happening to you. You got to call out for Jesus for one, and then you got to stop being scared. The Bible tells you don't be scared. Fear not, right?
go. Mhm.
So if you fall into the fear, they're going to be all over you. They're going to try to eat you for breakfast. So just don't be scared, and always call out for Jesus. So
Wow. Thanks so much for coming on the record, Michael. Really
yep.
appreciate it. Thank you so
Mm.
much. What I find particularly interesting is that there seems to be some sort of a generational link. When he finally told his mom about what was happening, she confessed that it had happened to her at least one time. And then, of course, praying to Jesus breaks the chain. It's not a guarantee, but it works pretty much all the time in the hands of a believer. in the hands of a believer. It's not like a genie in the bottle type thing. There has to be a personal relationship. But oftentimes, that can lead to a personal relationship. Someone cries out to the Lord, and the Lord shows up, sends an angel, and from that encounter leads a person to faith in Jesus and the Messiah. So it can, let's not put him in a box. But if you have a supernatural confrontation, shoot us an email, supernatural@lamarzulli.net, supernatural@lamarzulli.net. Our producer, John Adam Hicks, will get back to you via email. We'll set something up. If you want to remain anonymous, we can do that too, and just have your voice without your picture. That's supernatural@lamarzulli.net. This weekend, I will be at the Yuba City Conference along with Derek Gilbert and, of course, Pastor Dave Bryan. Hope to see you there. I was there probably, 10, 12 years ago, maybe longer. It's been a while. But we're back, and that should be, I'll be speaking 3 times, by the way, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they hold me over for Sunday night, and I'm looking forward to that. I will not be at the Hear the Watchman Conference in Lauraville, but folks, and the reason why I'm not going to be there is my place just too full. We're trying to get films out, and there's way too many balls in the air. But guess what? Pastor Mike Spalding will be there, along with Sonda Allison, gifted writer on spiritual warfare, and of course, our very own Vicki Joy Anderson, writing about sleep paralysis. She'll be talking Tom Dunn, Russ Disdar's right-hand man. So you want to check that out, hearthewatchman.com, hearthewatchman.com. Anyway, folks, we'll see you right back here tomorrow with an On the Trail of a Nephilim special. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, there is a supernatural world, and sometimes it manifests to people like you and me.